learn more information about. Again, this show is not pushing drugs. It's not pushing or selling it. It's really about following the legislative updates, understanding what the issues are, understanding the product, how it can be helpful, what are the benefits of it, as opposed to the negatives of it. Yes, this is Yaz Hurston, and you're listening to Blunt Discussion, a trailblazing podcast that can be heard. If you don't know, you can find us everywhere. You can find us, of course, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, those basic social media outlets for a little description. But you can listen to us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, and most importantly, www.bluntdiscussion.com. So there are a number of folks that are in this industry that are just finding so many creative ways to get on to get in this movement. And some of them I don't know, but some of them I'm proud to say I do know them. And I know them for quite some time in the realm of other businesses. But at the end of the day, being an entrepreneur is a transferable skill. And if you're a real entrepreneur, you're going to find every which way to make a business. So with us today, we have a young man who's an entrepreneur that I've known. He's also a frat brother of mine, Etu Evans. I know him, and many of you know him, as a shoe designer to stars. He's a creator of the bespoke footwear that seemingly makes clothes optional. The former behavioral therapist turned shoe therapist is the quintessential Renaissance man. Evans has been hailed by Footwear News as the Prince of Luxe Footwear and the new media darling by FashionWindows.com. Time Out New York reports his sexy, irreverent heels, true, have earned him the nickname Harlem Blahnik, and the shoe fits. I want to say that although he's been doing such a great job in that, he's also currently preparing a line of cannabis topical skincare, beauty, and pain relief products. Mr. Evans has shared that the parent company in Colorado was just approved for 32 new greenhouses. E2 has been working with a chemist and will be solidifying strains and formulas in the very near future. Along with that, he's even experimenting and delving into beverages and spirits and edibles. I give you, ladies and gentlemen, Etu Evans, and welcome, Etu, to Blunt Discussion.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So Etu, I don't know, do you want to put your headphones on? Are you good? No microphone check for you? Or?
I'm good, however you want to do it.
So I want to say this quote, and I either, throughout our shows, we do a couple of things because we really want to educate people. We want to get to know the energy of the people. And I want to say a quote. And once I read this quote, I want you to tell me what comes to mind, if that's okay.
Sure.
So the quote is by a person by the name of Bill Hicks. And the quote is, "Why is marijuana against the law? It grows naturally upon our planet. Doesn't the idea of making nature against the law seem to you a bit unnatural?" End quote. So what comes to mind when you hear that?
What comes to mind for me is that it's against the law because it's money making to criminalize people who are marginalized, those communities where it's heavily consumed. I think that's one thing. And the other thing is that it cuts pharmaceutical sales because it's a healing product. So why would something that's healing be prohibited? Mm-hmm. So the top wants to make the money, and we want to lock up the bottom or give them the leftover of the plant. Mm-mm.
So that being said, thank you for that. And that kind of gives the listening audience an understanding of what we're about to get into right now. Let's do it. So Etu, tell us a little bit about your background before you got into shoes, and just who you are, and we'll take it from there.
Well, I'm a behavioral therapist turned shoe therapist. This whole cannabis movement is important to me because when you study behavior, there are three things that can take place. Behavior is measurable, it can be shaped, and it can be predicted. It's irrefutable, the effects that cannabis has in terms of healing. I know from myself, from being in an accident and using ointment. You know, I had to do a show. I was in pain, but I persisted to get to the show. Put it on before the show. I was walking erect. Everything was good. So I think there's a stigma. And, you know, I'm a licensed minister as well. So everybody's like, how are you going to do this? And I tell them Jesus used cannabis. It was used in those Judaic practices. We can even go back. I was in Africa recently. And you see people using herbs for healing. And that's when I got the idea to infuse moringa with cannabis.
What made you do that? Just being from Africa? Just going to Africa? Or just was there a cause or an ailment that you saw that would basically benefit the use of both together?
Well, my grandmother really focused me on herbs at a very early age and its healing properties and principles. So even as a kid, I would make sassafras tea to purify the blood. I watched her use old Smirnoff bottles, and she would put mint and cough syrup and spirits. I don't know what was in it. I just knew it worked. So I've always been in the business and practices of healing. One of the number one questions for me was, what does shoes have to do with cannabis? But if you've ever had the Etu Evans experience, the first thing I always focus on is the foot as the foundation, and educate anyone who's coming to me the care of the foot, because all of your vital organs are there. So I would always make lotions and creams. So all I'm doing now is simply moving from the service that I call Etuology to the product of Etuology infused with cannabis. So
since you brought it up, how do you connect the shoe, right? So this is one of your shoes.
Yes.
A beautiful shoe, if I must say.
Thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to say specifically about this shoe?
Sure. All of
Before
my shoes,
we go in.
all of my shoes are made in Italy. They have purple bottoms. That's one of the trademarks. Impeccable craftsmanship, and the top materials. I believe in delivering the very best, and I plan to do the same with the gourmet edibles and a luxury line of skincare.
So we understand that this product is quality, and so now we're moving into your new line of edibles and topical cares. So we have a number of items here. Why don't you first tell us about the lines that you have, and then we can partake and understand what you have on the table.
Well, under my parent company, the Evans Guild, it's all about cannabis culture. Because for me, it's about shaping behavior for healing and healthier living and a lifestyle. So the Etuology brand, that's pretty much skincare. And then the Etu Evans brand will come out, and it'd be purple like the bottom of my shoes, and it's cosmetics. My sister has eczema. My grandmother had pain in her arm from arthritis. My mother had a car accident. So I know the healing properties and the relief they get when using the product. So one of the products that addresses pain specifically is called Queen 1927, named after my grandmother because she's the one who taught me about plants and herbs. And the latter is called Sir Evans, and that's the gourmet edibles, beverages, and playing around with spirits.
Sure. So you talked about 32 greenhouses?
Yes.
And what's that connection?
Well, it's funny how it happened because I have a gift for healing. So I met someone. First, God gave me a vision to go into a forest. So people like, you're actually going into a forest? Like, yeah, I'm going in, I'm praying no snakes come out. I found someone that had a similar faith level. They cut the trees into pieces, and I wanted to create this organic experience. So then I took 4 Ciroc bottles that I found on the block, washed them out, and I put all of the materials that I wanted to use for my collection to present to an investor. And I labeled everything Etuology. So when I met with that gentleman in Atlanta, he said he was sick. He couldn't meet me. I said, I'm en route from New York. I have a forest in my suitcase. We got to make this happen. You'll be healed. That's what cannabis does, and that's what I'm coming to do. He said, all right, I guess I'm coming. it got there. He said, look, you're talented, you're smart, you're creative, but I don't know about this. I said, I can tell you where you're sick. It's your left foot. He said, no, you're wrong. My pain is on the right side. I said, but if you want to be healed, it's in your left foot. He said, well, I'm going to tell you. What do you want me to do? Take my shoe off? I said, exactly. He said, look, man, respect you, boss, but
I'm taking my shoes off for you.
Only my Thai girls touch me. And I said, well, listen, I'm not Thai. I'm not going to be Thai. And the last time I checked, I'm definitely not checking to be a girl. So he took it off. I pressed. He said, yo, what did you do to me? I feel like I'm being healed. And then you started using the products, and he said, you're going to be the person that develops all of our topicals. And I wrote the foreword for a book on dandyism that's on Amazon. And he ended up going to that book signing with me, and the rest is history.
Wow. And so the greenhouses do what? They're the ones that's actually growing the products? Okay. And then from that's in Colorado?
Yes, it is.
All right. And so the greenhouses will at least provide you with the product so you can do your line.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to worry about like where you're going to get the stuff from. You have high quality growth.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what we have here.
Well, this is how it started. This is handcrafted soap, which is eucalyptus and spearmint.
Okay.
This particular one is patchouli and tea tree oil with dried hibiscus flowers. This is for the Queen line. It's muscle balm, skin balm, and love makes the world go round. So I've developed something called Etu jelly, which is a lubricant.
Wow. And how would that work?
It depends on how you want to spread your
pain?
jelly.
There's so many things that come to mind when you say these things. Okay, so we're being very creative. So we have jelly, muscle balm, and skin balm, and this
soap
is
and lotion.
A lotion, and all this has.
All of this is cannabis infused.
Okay.
But these are the initial products. You can see that it's.
I want to know if I can use this right now.
Oh yes, you
cannabis?
can. Yeah.
And what does this do for me?
Well, one of the wonderful effects of cannabis is that it reduces inflammation in the skin. So if you have acne, rosacea, psoriasis, it's wonderful for your skin.
It's good. It's the ash out too.
Oh
Kelly.
yeah. That's one of the number one reasons also is dry skin.
Sure.
But when you look at the effects, one of the things that drew me to skincare first was that most people don't realize that if you have hormonal imbalances, hair loss, infertility issues, eye irritations, headaches, all of those things are caused by cosmetic companies because of the use of parabens. So what makes my line different is that we don't have any of the parabens or the formaldehyde to prevent the bacteria from spreading.
Well, you sound well learned on this topic. So, Etu, I got to get back to this jelly, right? So does this help with your libido? Like, what does this do?
Well,
because I'm sure once you say it, people are going to be like, yo, how can I get that like right now?
Well, let me tell you this. I know that this is called blunt discussion, so I'm just
called
going to keep
so
it
let
blunt.
Let it out.
Well, experience and listening to people, I think, is very important when you're developing a product. I had a fraternity brother, and he confided in me that the young lady that he was seeing was having some problems.
Oh.
So immediately I went online because I already had an idea where this was going. And a lot of people don't realize that when you use, let me put it this way to be blunt, whatever you put on your skin, you should be able to put in your mouth.
Okay.
And a lot of people put products on their skin that they actually can't put in their mouths, or it will be harmful if they do so. So she began to have these yeast infections. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm tested, I'm good. So she's like, but why do I keep having these complications? It's because he had petroleum on his body and he was lying next to her. And by that, it went into the skin because the skin is the largest organ.
That's right.
So it absorbed from his skin into her skin.
Wow.
So one of the beauties of
you
this...
You guys went deep like that in talking?
Well, yeah,
I'm impressed.
If I'm going to put out a product, I want it to be reputable.
Sure.
So with my Etu jelly, You can have your front. You can spread it on whatever bread, whole wheat, white bread, whatever bread you want to put it on. And what it will do is you won't have to worry about those problems because it's not a petroleum.
Yeah, may I see it?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You said put on any bread. This is awesome. Okay.
Analogy, but
no, this is awesome.
It's for the body, it's to enhance intimate pleasure and activity and to be safe.
Okay.
So to that end, I'm looking at bath bombs because we can address menopause and menstrual issues as well. You may have heard of people using the spray on their hair to help them during their time of the month. So it can be absorbed into the body in different ways.
So finding out that there's a connection between you being a human behavioral specialist and this, do you find yourself talking to many more people about any ailments they may have?
Yes, people, they see me and I could be in the parking lot and they'll be like, can you tell me what's wrong? Can you touch me? Can you pray for me? What do you have? Do you have any more of your tonics? So I made things when people came to see me actually to get fitted for footwear. So I could always tell the reaction and they would always want more of this. Can they buy this? So now I'm excited about moving it from the service to an actual product.
Okay, well, this is very great. Let me just say, Etu, you will probably always be in business because you're so creative and you're very thoughtful in your product of who you're servicing as well. Where do you see this line going in the next 5 years or so?
I would love to be in Neiman's, Bergdorf, Saks, all of the top stores. I would like to do bridge lines. We are in the process of connecting spas to do private label for them as well. I believe that's important. And I would like to have an actual shop called Etuology. That's an actual spa that carries the products.
And your role as a business person and on the forefront as a black man, African-American man, what's your role or what you're thinking of how this can educate more, get more people of color in the business?
Well, I ran a program probably for about 15 years in Harlem called the Purple Boot Initiative, a mentoring program for young boys of color. I would actually like to take boys in the hood and educate them so that they can be not only consumers, but they can make money and teach them the business skills to do so.
Awesome. And if we wanted to reach you, please share with the audience how they can reach you.
You can reach me at etuevans.com. You can reach me soon at etuology.com.
How do you spell Etuology?
Just like my name, ETU, and then ology.
Okay,
yep.
OLOGY.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then Instagram at Etu Evans.
I know we're still trying to do this Instagram and social medias. But thank you again.
Thank you.
Etu Evans, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, on Blunt Discussion. And thank you for sharing it. I can't wait to use the products.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a great show. This has been wonderful. Our guests always continue to reach the bar and raise our standards. And we'll see you again. This is Yaz Hurston, Blunt Discussion. We'll see you next time. Thanks. This has been a Say Yaz Productions.